Hello, it's Daisy with Bridges 527, and I just saw the preview for the new Scream Smile movie that's coming out. Smile 2. I have not seen any horror movies, really. It's not my thing. And this is not to advocate for them or to criticize them. This is just saying, hey, part of what we do is we use the culture to engage with the people around us, and here's a great opportunity. So, and I love that just the preview is plenty enough to give you like some really rich opportunity for conversation. So I want to bring you into the thoughts in my head. This is super unscripted, very off the cuff. If I had done my homework first, I would have like verses specifically to reference and all that, but no, this is just super on the fly. And I do that partly, I know that it's not about authentic or I'm willing to do my homework and I'm willing to prepare also, but I think intentionally, I want people to see that some of this can just happen very organically, very instantaneously because of things. You can just kind of let it rip and it's okay, and it can be messy, and that's all right. So this is just an organic process of thinking through the things in our culture with intention, and letting the Holy Spirit kind of like lead our conversations, right? So not that I'm blaming this mess of a video on the Holy Spirit, but anyways, I'm just saying like that sense of trust and not having to have things perfect before we have conversations. So I kind of want to model that in these, even though I think it's often really messy, and I regret that a little bit, but this is the process, right? So anyways, the movie, the general from the preview, what I see is like it's a horror movie, and like people come up and they just have like a smile fixed on their face, and they just have these big smiles, and it's like creepy because the smiles don't go away and they don't feel real, and all of a sudden like you can't get away from it, and like it drives people crazy because there's like this sense that there's something sinister underneath it, because it's not genuine. And so I think it raises like a lot of questions. First off, I would say there's two different kinds of like horror movies, right? There's the ones where something's really evil, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Freddy or whatever, and you've got these things that are scary and evil coming at you. Alien kinds of movies and things where the enemy is clearly like looks scary, and you see that it is the enemy. However, there's these other ones, and I think often they might be more scary because it's like Chucky should be a cute little doll, but no, like he is evil and he looks twisted, but yet he's a doll, right? And you have smiles. Smiles are good things, but yet the moment you see these smiles, something feels off. But this is the gaslighting thing where you go, but a smile should be a nice thing, right? And like, so then you start questioning your judgment. Why would I? And I think even in this preview, maybe there was somebody, and it's like, oh, you're smiling, you want my autograph, you want whatever. And like all of a sudden, like, but your smile doesn't feel real, but you're smiling. And so like, what do we do with that? And I think it brings up the idea of gaslighting and how we deal with like when we can't trust our own judgment, when something feels off, but everybody goes, no, they're just smiling, they're just being kind. Like, why would you worry about that? And but you're like, but something didn't feel right. And so that sense of like, can we trust our judgment or not? Do we think we're crazy because we assume that something that we are told is good suddenly doesn't feel good anymore? So it brings up the idea of gaslighting, but I would also say like abuse really falls into this category, and I would say way bigger than that. Like the Bible talks about hypocrisy, wolves in sheep's clothing, whitewashed tombs. Like there's all these images that the Lord brings up where he has strong words to say about us when we seem to be one thing, when we call evil good, when we seem to be good on the outside, but there's actually evil hiding underneath it, that we've dressed up in goodness and we call it good and we say it's good, but really we all know that it's not good. So some of the business scams and things that people get into where it's like, no, this is good, but it's like, it doesn't feel good. It feels like you're cheating people, but no, it's totally legit. Everyone does it. There are so many different ways that we do this, and we want to justify it in our culture and call it good, but really the truth is it's not good. And so I think this movie becomes like a really interesting metaphor for hypocrisy and gaslighting and the ways that we dress certain evil things up in acceptable forms and call it good. And then this one person that's looking around going, does anyone else see this? Because this doesn't feel right. And so I think this is a great opportunity to have conversations about those kinds of things. And also, I wonder more specifically, like, especially for families that are dealing with like families or people who have been dealing with abuse and narcissism and things where, again, the whole world may see that this leader or this pastor or this person in your life or in your world, and the whole world is captivated by them and thinks they're amazing, but behind closed doors there's some things going on that are not okay. They are not kind, they are abusive, they are cruel, whatever it may be. And yet the whole rest of the world is going, but that person would never, that person's amazing. And you're like living in this secret reality going, okay, that is not the reality I'm living with. That is not what I have seen. And yet no one believes you because they are all seeing the smile. And you're kind of seeing behind it going, that smile's not right. Something's off. So I don't know. I just think, again, this is an opportunity for you to have conversations with people like, okay, whether or not you see the movie, have you been in that world where you feel like you are experiencing what you've seen it, like even just in the preview where somebody's experiencing something that looks like it's supposed to be a good thing on the outside, but yet you feel that there's something sinister underneath it. And what do you do with that? Has that been your experience? How do you respond? Do you think maybe this is like a metaphor for things going on in our culture? Or could it be? And if it was, what would you attribute it to? Like, where have you most witnessed this kind of a thing in your life? So anyways, there's a million ways we could take this, but I've unpacked it ad nauseum, and you didn't need me to do that for you as it is. You're welcome for that too. Anyways, so I hope this gives you some things to think about and really opens up some doors for conversations that maybe you wouldn't normally think to have in your everyday, just going about office chat. Anyways, so there you go. And like I said, I never know how to land the plane. I was always feels we were just jumping off, but I do hope that this helps you to dig deeper and to reach wider as you are looking for ways to connect your life with Christ. Okay.